Cogito, ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. I've always loved that phrase. And not just because it sounds like a very cool Instagram caption, but because of how introspective it actually is. So, if you're like me and you're not a linguist and you're not a poet, it's fine, I've got you covered. Simply, all it means is that no matter how much you doubt yourself, no matter how loud any negative thought becomes in your mind, the mere fact that you're having that thought means that you have a conscious thinking mind. That behind all that noise, a mind is thinking at that particular time. It means that you're the one who calls out those shots. It means that you're the one who makes your own narrative. And every narrative has its beginning. And for most of us, it's our mind. Most specifically, your neurons. And today, I'm going to give you guys an insight as to how those neurons can actually start a narrative. Oh, sorry, my bad. I forgot to introduce myself. Where are my manners? So, so who am I? That's a very hard question to answer, actually, right? Because think about it. How can you explain the entirety and complexity of your identity in just one answer, right? It's very nerve-wracking. So what do we usually end up doing, right? What we end up doing is just, saying our names, our ages, and that's pretty much it. Where we come from, that's all. So let me just do exactly that. My name is Ridhwan Mohamed. I'm 22 years old. I come right here from Dar es Salaam, and I studied right here in Al-Muntazir from my union nursery all the way to my high school graduation. And now I'm a fourth-year medical student at KSMC University. Okay, so we're all friends now, right? We're all good with each other. You guys can invite me over to your houses for biryani next year for Eid, right? So I can be like this next year at your houses. No? Okay. Maybe we need to get to know each other a bit better. Okay, sure. So maybe just to explain, apart from that, I'm the vice president for one of the country's largest student associations. Also, I'm a self-taught basketball player. All right. I'm a sports fan. I'm a lover of books, movies, TVs, and anime. I love astronomy and space exploration, all of those things. And I really, really have been a debater for over 8 years now. But most especially, I'm a public speaker and now a two-time TEDx speaker. Okay, this hasn't been me trying to impress you guys, I promise. That's not the reason why I'm saying all of this, right? But the reason why I've shown you guys all these aspects of my life is to show you that all of us have a side of us that can be so complex, that all of us are made up of so many different facets that together make us who you are, right? A lot of us have that psychological itch that we just would love to scratch, right? Me personally, doing this speech right now is me scratching a psychological itch, right? Just this past week, I've come back from back-to-back 9 papers in exams. Just 2 days ago, I finished my last exams, and today I'm here, right? And somebody would ask me, like, why would you do that? Like, why would you put yourself through that? But when you see an opportunity that is calling out to you, you will never leave it hanging, right? You'd always want to go for it. But I'll tell you right now, so many people have come up to me and just told me, hey, listen, stick to the status quo. Stay within your lane and just follow what you're here to do, right? They always come up with that phrase, right? A jack of all trades is a master of none, right? That phrase, I'm sure we've heard that before. But should mastery really be our goal, right? For me, I feel like mastery shouldn't be that goal at the end, right? I feel like even having that experience is something that's important as well, right? I'm not going to be a professional basketball player, or I'm not going to be like the president of the country speaking all the time, but all of those things are part of who I am. And those all make me who I am. And what I have chosen to master is medicine. Medicine is what I'm going to spend my sleepless nights and my waking days to mastering. Okay, now, moving on from there, where do the neurons come into play, right? That's the whole title, Neurons to Narratives. Where do the neurons come? I'm sure a lot of you guys, when you heard that neurons part, are going, oh my God, he's going to have a science lecture over here and bore us all to sleep. Nah, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something a little bit different this time around, but I'm going to need you guys to be very attentive for this part and very cooperative, because we're going to play a game now, okay? So, for this part, I'm going to need you guys to be so attentive right now. Hold out your fists like this. Up in the air, come on, be cooperative. Perfect, perfect. Now, follow some very simple steps. On one hand, stick out your thumb like this. Okay, perfect. Second step, stick out your pinky on your other arm like this. Okay, got it? Now, follow very carefully. For the next 10 to 15 seconds, try to flip between them. On the other hand, change it, and just keep going like that for a good 10 seconds. Easy to follow? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Let's go. Okay, some of you are struggling, I can see. But he's got the hang of it. Perfect, perfect. I'm seeing some people already improving. Okay, that's amazing. You guys are doing very well. Did you see how you guys just did that in those few seconds, right? A few seconds ago, you probably didn't know that your brain could do that, right? How is that so? Like, how were you able to adapt so quickly? That's something that we call neuroplasticity, right? Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change, adapt, and rewire itself. Whenever you repeat an action, it strengthens a new neural pathway. And the more often these neurons fire together, the stronger this connection becomes. Isn't that just like an amazing concept that you guys just learned right now, right? That's out of this world. And it's not just like a theory that we just say in passing. It's used every day, especially in science and in rehabilitation medicine, right? For example, for stroke patients who've lost feeling in a part of their body, their rehabilitative providers, what they do is they encourage them to just imagine and think of moving a particular part of their body that doesn't function. And what happens is that your brain learns to adapt and takes that information and interprets it as if you were actually committing that act. And the way that it strengthens those neural connections, it puts them at a better progress towards recovery than before by using neuroplasticity in rehabilitative medicine. That's just something out of this world, right? That's why I really encourage you guys to really take advantage of it. Personally, I take advantage of my neuroplasticity all the time, right? Because me speaking like this isn't how I was before. I would have been shaking at my boots just a few years ago, right? But I've learned that you're able to actually change yourself, right? You're able to actually learn something new. And that's how I learned how to public speak. And that's also how I learned how to play basketball back in lockdown. I kept putting myself in those uncomfortable situations, and doing so made me adapt, and it made me build that confidence, and it made me have that resilience to keep growing until I started seeing some results, right? And that confidence wasn't something that I just found out. I had to train it. And little by little, those things became my identity. Now, speaking of identity, before anybody misunderstands me, I'm not trying to make all of you guys here pick 1,000 new hobbies, and I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anybody else because I have so many things that I'm involved in. Trust me, that's not what I'm trying to say here. But bear with me. What I am trying to say is that the more multiple layers that you add to yourself, to your identity, the more it's going to be for your own benefit, especially for your own peace of mind. For example, let me use this example. Are there any Arsenal fans in the crowd here today? Okay, perfect. I see my Arsenal fans. You guys are very happy, smiling now, raising up your hands. The Premier League champions, right? But a few years ago, or just last year, this wouldn't have been the case, right? You guys are really struggling this time last year, right? And trust me, it hasn't been easy for you. Personally, one of my best friends is an Arsenal fan, right? And we've been ridiculing him since we were in high school. But the very funny thing about him is that he doesn't let any of that come and affect him. And how is he able to do that, right? It's because he puts just as much value that he has for his football team into the other layers of himself. He's a very devout Arsenal fan. He watches every game, but he's also a very good student and hardworking. He's one of the best in our class. He's an athlete himself, and he loves to play football. But he's also a very good friend, and he makes time for his companions and his loved ones. So, and in those moments, he isn't somebody who is allowing a group of 11 players on a football pitch to determine his emotions for the next following week. He's a student, he's a friend, he's a football player himself, he's all of those things. And he allows himself to disassociate from that, right? Psychologists, they call this the self-complexity theory. And what that is that the more dimensions that you have within your personality, the more likely you are to be resilient if one of those dimensions takes a hit. And it makes sense, right? Like if somebody is just too focused on their career or their grades or a particular relationship, the moment that that crumbles down, they'll feel like the whole world is just collapsing around them, right? Isn't that right? But when somebody has so many layers to them and they've invested a lot of passions into other things and other aspects of their lives, they're more likely to persevere and they're more likely to become more optimistic people. And that's just something that's really cool that people are able to do. Now, why does all this matter? Why do we really need to invest all of this time into becoming such multifaceted people? Because, well, it's simple. A lot of us, we believe that happiness comes at a distant location, right? We have students in the crowd here today, right? We have a lot of students. We got any final years? We got final years, possibly seniors, 2027. Okay, I see you guys. I'm sure you guys are waiting for your graduation next year. Trust me, I'm waiting for mine next year as well. I've been thinking of how I'm going to be wearing my graduation cap and gown, and I have my Instagram caption already ready in my mind. Trust me, that feeling is unlike any other thing. But what I've come to realize in my high school graduation, 1 week later, what happens? We all sit down, and after all the excitement has died down, we start thinking, okay, wow, what now? That very scary thought, what now? And you could even start to panic by having that thought, because that's what happened to me as well. And I thought I was just being pessimistic or something was wrong with me. But then I came to find out it's actually a very common thing that happens. And it actually has a name. It's known as the arrival fallacy, right? And what that is, it's just the belief that once you reach a future milestone, we'll finally feel complete. We'll finally feel like our life has meaning if we graduate, or if we get this new job, or we get this new promotion, right? But the funny thing about accomplishments is that it loves to move the goalposts. And always, once you reach that point, we always then now start wondering, what next? What next? What can we do? So, to help you so that you don't end up in that point where you're constantly overthinking, it's fine. What you need to do first and foremost, live in that moment and enjoy. I don't want you to always be thinking of the next thing, right, as you finish it. Live in that moment and spend it with your loved ones and just have the best possible time. But also, how we overcome it is by stopping having this narrative that life is all about going from point A to point B. Life is more than that, right? Life is all about the experiences that you have, the people that you meet, the rooms that you walk into, most especially the failures that you go through. Personally, I've had my fair share of failures, right? I tell this to my students that I teach debate all the time. In my first competition, I lost all my rounds, all 6 preliminary rounds. I lost all of them. And I was one of the worst teams from my school. But in 4 years, I was representing my national team in one of the largest debate competitions in the world. And I was giving my first TEDx speech. Wow, that's something that happened in that's just that little amount of time. And I was able to do that because of having that narrative and having that mentality that life is an experience. It's not about becoming one specific version of yourself. It's about building yourself piece by piece from different experiences and different things that you go through. You are a construction project. You're not a destination. You're always changing and you're always maturing little by little. Okay, so now at the end of all this, what's my message to you? Like, what can you guys sitting there today, leaving from here, actually do? Right? First things first. Comparison is the thief of joy. I know it's very easy to start panicking when you see your friends, your age mates reach so far ahead in your life, and you might feel like you're sitting in one specific point and you're not moving, right? Trust me, I've encountered a lot of those things myself, right? All those people on LinkedIn, we call them the LinkedIn warriors, they post their achievements and accomplishments all the time. It gets so toxic sometimes, trust me. So even I try to separate myself and just work on myself sometimes. So my message is you can start little by little, right? It's something so simple. It's something as simple as one of your friends who might know a foreign language, ask them to teach you a few words. You learn something, right? If you're scrolling on TikTok at night and you come across a food recipe, learn that recipe. You never know. Maybe you'll be starving one day and that's what's going to save you, right? Or if you're a student and you see some people discussing a few exam questions, join them. You never know. Maybe that's the one that's going to come in the exam, right? Trust me, it's happened before. But what I'm trying to say is go for those opportunities and don't leave them hanging. You don't know which one is the one that's actually going to be so impactful towards you. But also, one more thing for everybody, have your passports ready. Because you never know when an opportunity comes knocking where you have to travel somewhere to add some kind of value to your life. Trust me, it's something that's been working wonders for me personally, right? So apply first and ask questions later. That's my motto. I just apply first and I ask questions later. And of course, you'll get some rejections. I have a lot of rejection letters sitting for me in my email right now. But the ones that I do get accepted into, those are the ones that end up changing my life. And those are the ones that work out for me for the better. So finally, I leave you with this. I want you guys to invest in yourself. Invest in your mind. Invest in your sense of self. Don't fit into that predetermined box that's been set out for you, right? The parts of you that make you become more whole, those are the things you need to invest in. Because the truth is, every single one of us have been allocated the exact same thing, borrowed time. It's so little time that we've borrowed. So we really need to make the best use of it. You're capable of so much more than you think if you just put your mind to it. Your story starts now, and it starts with a narrative. And behind all that, it starts with one thing, a thought. Thank you all.